Hello again everyone, we are once again back in line, and today we are going to be doing set S. Today is a one-line set, so shouldn't be too terribly difficult. Well, actually, we're going through this set. I'm going to be discussing some of the different custom game modes available in League of Legends. There's a few that have been actually sanctioned by Riot and implemented into the game as a whole. Others are just basically custom game modes that people play and are just kind of created for their own enjoyment. Those do it. There are quite a few of them actually that do exist. Not from an actual full standpoint of being implemented, but rather just kind of played through custom games. And so, honestly, some of these game modes originated kind of from that point, where they were basically put in. Not so much from a standpoint of when they were just... the best thing I can think of here as examples like Catch Timo, played either on the Minion or someone's Rift, games of that nature, where they're basically just... but they're basically just fun type of games that you can do in League of Legends as well, where it's not really... You're not really playing super high pressure games or super something that's really high impact or hard to play. It's just kind of a different way to approach the game with given the mechanics that already exist, and then just kind of play from there. One of the things I can think of one of the things that I've actually personally played a lot of before it was implemented was the Showdown mode that was originally basically implemented for it was previewed during season 2 playoffs, actually, where during All-Star Week, no, not playoffs, during All-Star Week of season 2, where the pro players basically played a versus match on Magma Chamber, which was a map that was originally programmed by Riot and originally announced all the way back in like beta or something. Open beta, I believe, was the first time they actually announced that. Something that they announced honestly way too early, because they never ended up releasing it, and it honestly became a big issue from the standpoint of it was never ready to be released or anything of the sort. So it became there's one of those times where Riot kind of announced something way too early before it's ready, and even so, it's not something that's going to be released anytime soon, because they're having issues with with performance issues regarding the map, because they can't get it to necessarily perform well on every machine. So, a lot of times when you're designing something like that, you have to consider every single computer that's going to be trying to run the game, not just your Alienware or your high-tech computers, but also the toasters that are out there that people run. So that was one of those major issues with Magma Chamber that came into play, was it simply was not going to run. But they had way too many issues trying to get it to run properly on every kind of machine. So unfortunately, that's not going to be seen anytime soon. But Showdown was still pretty fun to play on. But I preferred. But the thing that's different with Showdown, that I actually preferred kind of playing in the custom games a little bit more. With the availability that they had in there, was the fact that in Showdown you could go back and you could buy, and I didn't really care for that as much. Whereas the extra starting gold you get from the Howling Abyss, normally for ARAM games, I prefer starting with that amount of gold. You have to manage what your starting items are, and then you just kind of go from there. It's not something where you're like, okay, I kind of wait and I scale and I buy all this stuff. It's more just you manage what you're doing. But either way, ever since I don't believe Showdown was not the first actually sanctioned custom game they released. In fact, even harkening back all the way to ARAM, which was, I think, first played as a custom game all the way back in Season 1, even, which is pretty crazy for a game mode to be out for even out and available for even that long. But it was originally, I think it was during the stream of the Riot stream of the EU service split, which was also one of the times that they released that they showed off the Bravery game mode. So that was kind of, it's just interesting to see different things like there, like games like Gary's Mod or stuff like that, where you're taking artifacts or different things that are already existing in the game and making it into even more of stuff inside the game itself, even. So you're taking basically taking what you already have and making it even better. To a certain extent, anyways. Alright, how many times okay, there we go. That took way too long on that. There's I think they've, if I've counted correctly, they've actually released a total of 4 that they've really gone through and support as a separate kind of game mode to a great extent. And that would be One for All, which I believe was the first one they released out. Actually, interestingly enough, One for All was originally an exploit, where people figured out a way to kind of hack the game and make it to where you could have you could basically pick all the same champion. It was just basically just somebody got into the game coding and stuff like that, and figured out a way to basically make that happen. So they originally actually banned people for doing it, for hacking the game. Which, I mean, if you're hacking the game, you're going to get punished for doing so. But eventually, because it was not something that was providing like a advantage to anybody or creating a massive problem, then they eventually released it as a separate custom game mode. So that's kind of where that all started, from the standpoint of those different custom game modes being released. And then from there, it's gone on to different other ones like Hexakill, Ultra Rapid, the newest one that's still actually out at the time of this recording, which is Ultra Rapid Fire, and that is fun. That's actually most definitely my favorite out of the ones that have been released so far. One for All was kind of interesting, but it works for me. I kind of felt that it works so much better on the ARAM map than anywhere else. I didn't really care for it necessarily from some of their standpoint, whereas Showdown I played quite a bit, but again, I preferred just kind of the differences with the regular How to Invest and just doing it through custom game mode you can do right now. But and Hexakill I didn't play basically at all. Didn't really touch that one. But Ultra Rapid Fire is definitely a very fun one. Because the thing with a lot of those different game modes is they're not. Summer's Rift will always be the competitive one, the one that where all the game balancing and that kind of stuff comes into play. Because even though they've had Twisted Tree Line all the way since open beta, and actually there was competitive, and there was some competitiveness for some competitive tournaments for Twisted Tree Line, because there was actually, I believe, a Razor tournament right around the time that I started the game. Is when it happened. I think it was January or something like that. In terms of when it was. No, it's sometime around like April, the open beta year, I believe it was. So it's a little bit interesting to see that. There was because there were actually a tournament involved in a map that wasn't Summoner's Rift for League of Legends, but that was quite a long time ago. Did I just do this? Just like the next thing roll. That is weird. And this looks like it's just mirrored. Yeah, that's just... is that basically the same level 3 times in a row? That's just weird to me. Anyways, touching back on what I was discussing earlier with the different custom game modes. There's different maps. I mean, they've announced, they've released Dominion, which has gotten honestly not that much gameplay, to be honest with you. I don't see, you don't really see it nearly as much as you see some of the others. Which, I mean, kind of is expected because it's so much different. It's a lot different from a lot of the other things that happen with League of Legends, because it's not... You're basically taking like a capture... you're basically introducing a capture hold format into a game that's not really... It's more... it's so much of it, especially in competitive play, is based on objectives from towers and that kind of stuff. So that the capture hold doesn't really... I mean, it feels like it's similar, but it doesn't really fit into the mold as much, as it were. What am I on? Okay, that's 22. Alright. Yeah, it feels like these maps keep repeating themselves for some reason. Anyways, but because Dominion Dominion's different, was introduced. Let's see, there was what else was there? With the ARAM, they originally they basically repurposed the tutorial map for it, because the Proving Grounds was actually looked completely different. It wasn't quite as bounced from side to side, so it was. So they basically repurposed that map for the sole, basically for ARAM to give the ARAM map, because the original tutorial map basically worked very well and was fit very well for Dominion, for ARAM, because of the way it was structured with the single lane and all that kind of stuff. So them basically retooling that map specifically for ARAM was an idea that was brought on by the community and very useful. So it's interesting seeing all the different things that Riot put into the game. That's always going to be about Summoner's Rift regardless. Anyways, there is set S. I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry for that one level that took me forever because I was talking too much or not really focusing on it. But anyways, we'll be moving on to set T for the next video, and hope you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. Anyways, I'll see you next time for set T, and soon enough, I'm at 169 now, so soon enough we'll have that palette video out as well. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.